One of the big questions that is kind of has been asked a lot over the last year, but is getting even more prominent once again due to the recent wins from Joe Biden and the Democratic Party is, okay, with that context in mind, with the idea that Biden has gotten a lot more wins than expected, the Inflation Reduction Act being the most recent and a very significant one, and now the economy headed back sort of in the correct direction, should we reconsider if he should run in 2024? Because for a moment there, everyone kind of started to believe he absolutely wasn't the right candidate for the Democratic Party. And so because he's kind of looking better now, the question's coming back up. Well, should he run in 2024? And we'll look at in a second some reporting on him definitely, apparently, from all the people close to him, keep repeating the line that he is planning on running. So we'll look at that in a second. But we also have a clip to look at of Jamal Bowman, who's a congressman, a Democratic congressman, being asked this question. And for a while, kind of avoiding the question, and then finally sort of more directly answering it. And it's this situation where usually if there was an incumbent president of a certain party, then all of the people in that party would be enthusiastically supporting them even before they've announced for president. But now you see a lot of people within the Democratic Party, because of Biden's unpopularity, feeling very uncomfortable with giving a clear, I want him to run, I want to support him in 2024. And they kind of just, well, I think we should focus on this right now. Or, well, he hasn't actually officially announced, so I'll wait to speak to that. And so my feelings on this is still, even though Joe Biden has gotten some pretty significant wins, he still should not run. I don't think he's the right candidate. I think if he continues with the way he's going right now, as well as the Democratic Party, could set up a situation where whoever the Democratic candidate is has a better shot because of Biden's successes and the Democratic Party's successes, because the Democratic Party will be judged kind of as a whole. And so if someone runs on that ticket, they'll kind of get to benefit from the successes that happened during the Democratic Party's kind of time in power. So I think he should push, keep trying to look good, try to get his approval rating up, try to make the Democratic Party look good so that someone else can run, not so that he can run. But I'm interested to hear from you guys in the comments if you think he should or not. But let's go ahead and look at this moment of Jamal Bowman getting pressed on this issue.
God. Congressman, do you want him to run again?
Well, I want us to keep winning as Democrats right now in the House. I mean, we're talking a year or two away. I'm not thinking a year or two away.
Well, I will say, and this is, it doesn't matter if it's a Democratic congressman, Jamal Bowman's progressive, so I'm not someone who wears a partisan cap, and I just want to say right now, I hate that. I hate that. Again, even though politically I would be predisposed to agree with someone like Jamal Bowman, I hate when politicians do that of any sort. When they get asked a question and they immediately answer a different question. So, do you want Biden to run in 2024? Well, I'm focused on, that's not what the person asked. Stop it. So many people do that. Really? You think it's mentally impossible to simultaneously think about 2024 and think about getting successes now? No. Of course, I understand why he's doing that. I understand why so often politicians have to do that, because they really don't want to answer the question that's being asked, but they also don't want to say no comment. So instead they'll give a kind of weird, slimy answer like that. But, I just really think it comes off as dishonest when you clearly avoid a question like that, regardless of if you're probably on the majority side in not wanting to clearly support Biden for president 2024. Okay, we'll keep going with this.
You walk and chew gum at the same time and tell us if you think that he should run again or not.
Here's the most important thing for us to focus on right now. We have to keep the House, which I think we have a chance to do. We have to win multiple seats in the Senate, which I know we have a chance.
And I'll also say, sorry, I know I'm cutting in a lot, but I'll also say when anyone says an election's too far away and it's the next presidential election, that never lands on me. That never makes sense, because we understand these campaigns start getting built, planned years, sometimes 4 years in advance. Obviously they announce inside of 2 years, but these campaigns are thought about and planned and worked on a very long time before the actual election. So saying this is 2 years out is not true. People will start announcing for president sometime after the midterms, maybe a while after the midterms. I don't know, but we'll look at in a second. Biden apparently is being encouraged to announce right after the midterms. So it's not a bad question. It's not irrelevant to ask, hey, do you think that the current president within your party should seek re-election? Because he needs to make that decision soon, and he is going to listen to people within his party. So don't act like it's irrelevant, Jamal Bowman.
To do. And once we do that, we show our strength as a party, which will make him stronger and will help us as we enter 2024.
There are numerous articles out this weekend about how he is aggressively planning his re-election campaign. So I think you should assume he's running. So I think what Democrats would want to know from someone like you, an important leader in the Democratic Party, is, are you ready to get behind the incumbent president of the United States for re-election right now?
Yes. If the president is running for office, if he's running, I will support him, right?
Okay, that is the most honest answer and the one that he should have given.
What's more important?
Excuse me. At the beginning of the questioning, because to say, hey, he hasn't even officially announced, so I'm not going to say I'm supporting him, but if he announces, I can tell you now I will support him. That's an honest answer for sure. And he gets there, so he should have just started with that, because then the focus becomes, why are you avoiding the question, instead of, all right, cool, yep, I would support him if he announced, move on, which I think is pretty much how everyone within the Democratic Party feels. I don't think there's very many congressmen or senators who would actively go against Biden if he announced for president. That would just really make it hard for the Democratic Party to unite to beat the Republican Party. Now, if it's a divided field, I think it's anyone's game, and they should have a nice contentious primary if Biden's not running. But when the incumbent president within your party, unless he's done horrible things, decides to run, it's gonna kind of be their nomination to take. But so that's why I think it's fair to say, hey, he hasn't announced yet, but if he does, I will support him. Do I think he should announce is another question. That would be fair. But anyways, I just wish that people, left, right, or center, would stop doing that weird avoiding the question tactic of completely pretending like you didn't hear the question, or saying I just have to focus on this, so I can't think about another thing because I have one thing in my mind at a time. Come on. But as one of the correspondents alluded to, Biden has been reported to still be planning on running, as insider reports here. President Joe Biden is laying the groundwork to kick off his 2024 re-election campaign after the November midterm elections, according to aides and political allies who spoke with Bloomberg. Biden seeking a second term in the White House could set up a potential rematch with former President Donald Trump. Trump has teased a third presidential bid since leaving the Oval Office last year, and is reportedly looking to announce a campaign soon, but he will likely have to ward off several high-profile GOP challengers. I don't think that's true. Possibly. I think if Trump announces, it won't be that big of a primary, but maybe that would be interesting to see, who are banking on attracting Republicans who still admire the former president but desire a new standard bearer for the party. Anita Dunn, a longtime Biden world figure who recently rejoined the White House as a senior advisor, said the president has always been serious about seeking a second term. Quote, the president has said he's planning on running again, she said to Bloomberg, or she told Bloomberg, people should take him at his word. So that's as clear as it gets. Obviously, he can always say he's planning until he decides not to. So it's not an absolute sure thing. But like the correspondent said, there seems to be multiple reports out as of recently that these recent successes are kind of continuing in Biden's favor of what he seems to actually want to do, which is run for re-election, which again, I don't think he should do. I think he has been too damaged politically, for one, and two, each year that goes by, he seems to just get worse and worse at being able to come off as competent, coherent, and communicate well. And so regardless of how many successes he's overseen or whatever, him being the incumbent president, that's going to hurt badly. And so if you can take those successes from the Democratic Party and attach them to newer face, someone who doesn't have all that political baggage and doesn't have such a hard time, conveying ideas as Biden does, then I think you have a really good chance in 2024. But who that person is going to be a really important conversation, as well, as we've discussed in the past. But we won't get into that now. So we'll see. But it would be very, very unfortunate in my mind if we saw a Trump-Biden rematch. Not because I think necessarily Trump would win, but I just think it's time to move on from that moment as a country.